What is up guys, Andy Forrest Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm giving you guys my first impressions of the Puma ForeverRun NITRO. This is a brand new running shoe from Puma, releasing March the 1st, 2023. Excited to share with you guys my thoughts as I've managed to get a couple of cheeky runs in this thing already. I'll be going through the technical overview today, as well as how I've been using it and who this shoe is best suited for. So if you're excited for today's video guys, please make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and we'll dive in straight away to the tech. We'll start off by saying I went true to size in this shoe. UK size 13. It's a 10mm heel to toe drop, 36mm of stack height in the heel, 26 in the forefoot, and in my UK size 13 it comes in at 357 grams or 12.6 ounces. And as always, we'll start away at the back here, talk about the heel counter, the tongue, the lacing, the upper, the midsole, and finish off with the outsole. So let's start at the back here. We've got a very nice rigid heel counter, keeping your heel locked in nicely, along with a big old heel clip going around the outside of the shoe. So this is a stability shoe. You'll gather as we go through the stability features that I highlight. That is one of them. Your heel stays very locked in and it's very nice and comfortable. We're going to talk about this ankle collar area here because I did have a bit of a gripe with this, but it is nice and padded around the back here, around the sides, the back, and again the side there. Nice bumper padding to sit underneath the ankle bone, but in terms of the cut of it, it is a little bit too high. Don't notice it when you're running, but when you're walking around you do. I'll explain more shortly. In terms of the tongue, it's a very comfortable, lightweight tongue, basically paper thin at the top, but when you get a centimetre down, not sure if the camera's going to pick it up there, but just about here, you start to get a little bit of padding, which protects the top of the foot from when you cinch those laces down. In terms of the laces themselves, as you can see, it's a pretty standard lacing system, and you can see there that we've got two loops here that the laces go through to stop the tongue from going left to right, but it is already a gusseted tongue, which means it's attached on the medial and lateral sides, so it is a very secure fit. The tongue does not slide anywhere. We have a very nice, breathable, engineered mesh upper. You can probably see it is patterned. You can see a couple of layers on there, but you can see through the shoe as well. It's lovely and breathable. It's going to be great for those warmer months, I think. It's not too thick. A little bit more reinforcements around the toe box there, and we've got what they call power tape, which runs across here, and you can see some strips of the power tape up there. It's very lightweight, but it's been added to allow support, or encourage support, I should say, on the outer of the shoe and increase durability. Again, you can see just around the eyelet chain here, we've got a little bit of extra material there too, to make sure that stays nice and secure. In terms of the midsole, we have a dual density midsole, a softer core and a firmer outer rim. You can see that through at the base of the shoe here. It is indeed, you can see that there, that's the internal or the inner softer foam. This is a very comfortable ride, very comfortable midsole. If I could put a graph up on screen, if I remember I will, but if not, if you imagine really, really firm at this end and really, really soft at this end, it sits slap bang in the middle. Very comfortable, good mix of comfort and performance, exactly where you want it really. And then the outsole, a lovely wide base of the shoe. Again, another supportive feature there so that you don't, you've got a nice wide landing pad, and this extra bit of rubber, this black rubber here, is a little bit thicker to help that sort of toe off overpronation. It kind of tries to help keep you a little bit more stable. It's a little bit more firm here than it is on this side. But you can see the Puma grip here covers the majority of the shoe. We've just got this exposed bit of outsole here, exposed bit of midsole here with some of this really exposed inner midsole just through there. And that is it for the tech. So let's dive into my first impressions of the shoe. How did I find it? Well, before we do that, let me just throw out a quick disclaimer here. Puma did indeed send me these shoes for the purpose of review. However, they do not get any editorial control over my content, and they certainly will not see this video before you guys get to see it here. But I will say a massive thanks to Puma for putting their trust in me to review this shoe. So with that being said, a couple of easy runs in. How have I used it? Who is it best for? Pros and cons. 2 easy runs in this shoe so far. That's exactly what this shoe is for. I wouldn't say it's for anything else. The weight is actually pretty decent, especially for a more supportive shoe. So I think I've talked in the past when I've got easy shoes, for me in a UK size 13, an easy run shoe I would like to have anywhere between 320, 330 grams all the way up to 360. Anything more than that gets a little bit heavy, a little bit cumbersome, and then it really does have to become a special shoe for the weight to become almost not noticeable. But this is on that top end, but still sits nicely underneath the 360 bracket, so that's good. And it is, you can notice it. It feels a little bit heavier because of all what's going on, but at the same time, the midsole and everything feels really comfortable. And that is a big plus with this shoe. This dual density midsole is that perfect combination of performance and comfort. It's what they say, and I have to say, I agree with it. Another real standout feature of this shoe is the mesh upper. It is very comfortable, it is very breathable, and it fits around the foot nicely. Someone with a wider foot, this works really well. Toes have a lot of room to splay. If anything, there's a little bit too much extra material on the top here, I'd say. I don't know if you can see here, there's a bit of puckering here. It is very, very wide. Well, it is for me anyway, and I have a wider foot, which is good. It's what I want. I need my toes to splay. I don't want them to be bunched up. I save that for racing shoes, but nothing else. So there are some really good positives there. The laces are good and nice and long. You can indeed, I think, long enough to use these extra runners, the extra eyelet hole up here. So you can do the runner's knot if you want to, and you want that extra bit of stability. But overall, what the shoe does is it does really control your foot strike. And I think that leads me on to who this is best for. So sometimes we can find shoes that are neutral shoes, and that's what I run in. I run in neutral shoes mainly. And we can get neutral shoes that offer a little bit of stability, like tiny stability features, maybe a small heel clip, maybe a little bit of a firmer midsole chunk in this medial section here, just under the arch of the foot, just to stop you rolling in too much. Just those little bits and bobs are fine for me. They work well for me. And this has worked well for me too, but I would say this really does tip into the supportive bracket. So you can sometimes as a neutral runner get away with a shoe that has what I would class light stability features. I'd say this is full-on stability shoe, and I would say if you are a neutral runner, this isn't the shoe for you. This isn't what you're looking for. If you're someone that kind of floats between the two, or is a runner that needs a supportive shoe, this is definitely going to be for you. However, the one thing to bear in mind, and the one thing that I found that I did notice and I did make a mental note of and I did need to say, is this heel collar here, sorry, the cut underneath the ankle bone, I should say, isn't deep enough. I did find when I was walking, this is quite a firm edge around here. There is a little bit of paper thin material here, but just underneath that, that's quite a firm edge, and that does sit right up underneath the ankle bone. I did notice when I was lacing them up and I walked out of my house to the start of my run before starting my watch, that I could feel the sides of the shoe just pushing up underneath the ankle bone. When I started running, I felt absolutely nothing. It was very reminiscent of the New Balance Fuel Cell Propel. I had exactly the same issue with that shoe. Again, it wasn't an issue when I was running. I didn't notice it when I was running, and it didn't cause me any problems. But when I was walking, I noticed it. So if you're going to buy this shoe for walking, bear in mind this cut here is a little bit too high. But overall, I think that's the only negative thing I can say about the shoe. I think it's going to be a good addition to the Puma lineup. I think it's going to be a shoe that's going to work well for people that need supportive shoes. And it is comfortable. The dual density midsole was a big plus, a big standout, and the upper was a big standout. Both those two things felt really, really good. Now, I've had hit and miss experiences with Puma shoes. I love the Liberate Nitro. I wasn't a massive fan of the Deviate Nitro #1. and this is now on the side of the Liberate Nitro. It's a positive experience, and I think this midsole is something that I would love to see as a neutral runner be implemented into some of their neutral shoes. I don't know if it is going to be this year, but I'd love to, because it was, as I said, a real standout, and I have to say it's a really good job well done there. So bar this ankle collar cut here being a little bit too high, a solid entry for Puma's supportive shoe lineup this year, something that I've really enjoyed so far, something that I will continue to use in moderation, because I have to remember that I am a neutral shoe runner, and so I don't want to kind of force my gait cycle too much. Small, easy runs is going to be where this shoe excels for you guys and for me as well. So that's it for me today on this shoe. Really enjoyed it. Love to hear if you're going to be picking this one up or not. If you are, let me know in the comments below. And of course, I'd love to hear what your favorite Puma running shoe is at the moment. I've heard so many of you buzzing about the Elite 2 racing shoe. One I'd love to get my hands on at some point. Is this going to be in your rotation? Let me know, I'd love to hear. That's it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider giving it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.